welcome back to Quicks14Blog, continuing on in Nax Construct Quarter as we continue on here in part 2. So we're continuing to fight the big poison man Grob himself. Now as you can see, we're doing much better here in controlling the poisons and doing damage that we can. We just pretty much had a DPS problem, and we just weren't doing enough damage fast enough. That's how things were going. So we're keeping things up. I am pretty much on HOTS for raid wide and for people who get poison, which happens to be me a couple times here. And we're just rinsing and repeating, keeping him around the room, keeping him kited a little faster than we probably did last time too, and doing a better job of controlling the add-ons. We get so close here, or ads, getting so close. Feel it, and he's down. That's it. Game over. Don't celebrate just yet. Finish the ads, and they're down. Celebrate. Celebrate. Yes, finally. God, it felt so good to finally get him down. After trying and finally getting him down. So that was really nice. Get some really nice loot here. I believe there's some plate boots. Really nice boots, and then also a necklace that dropped that I happened to get as well, and I think I'm still wearing. Very nice necklace. And that pretty much does it for Grob. We're going to move on to Gluth here, and Gluth is a pain. And not really a pain, he's just takes a little more coordination, really. Excuse me. There are ads that spawn, and they're called zombie chows. So basically what you need to do is you need to pretty much tank Gluth at one side of the room, and you need to kite tank the chow on the other far side of the room. And basically he has a soft enraged charmer and a hard enraged charmer. So you're going to need about 2 or 3 tanks for this, probably, to best do this. This is what's worked for us so far. We had 2 tanks on the on Gluth himself, and then we have 1 tank that's going to be on the ads. Now this is the first time doing it. We tried to do it because we really didn't have any extra tanks, so we tried to have the hunters go ahead and kite him around the room, but they've never really done it before. They haven't really been set for it. We all had miscommunications about this, because you do need to burn down the ads before he can eat them. But unlike most, these ads have a ton of health. And what happens is that every now and again, at a certain time, which will be cued by your Deadly Boss mods or Bigwigs, whichever you use, it'll be cued that he's about to do this like obliterate spell. I can't remember the exact name off the top of my head. What this does is it knocks everybody's health to a very low level, and this includes those ads. And the idea is that when that happens, these ads start going towards him, and this is why they need to be tanked as far away as possible, or dealt with as far away as possible, because he's going to eat them, and as he eats them, he heals a lot. So when they hit the obliterate, their health comes down almost all the way, just like yours, and that's when you can go ahead and DPS the crap out of them and kill them before they get there. Hunter traps are very useful here, not just in stopping them from getting to there, but also in stopping them from attacking the person kiting them and slowing them down, because like they weren't bad enough, and that they heal a boss, and that they have a ton of hit points, but they also add a wonderful little debuff to the person they hit, which increases the amount of damage they take by a certain percentage, and it stacks. Thank you, Blizz. So the person tanking them or kiting them around, or however you like to say it, pretty much has to keep moving in order to minimize those debuffs as much as possible. And this is also true for Gluth himself. He also has something very similar, so that's why you really need 2 tanks on him, so they can pass each aggro back and forth to drop the actual debuff. But we didn't really get this. I really wasn't given a. It was confusion, and I was moving all over the place trying to heal, and there was only 2 of us healing. So having 2 to 3 healers here helps. You can have one healer on the tanks, and another healer or 2 healers on the people or person dealing with the chow as they're kiting it, because you really got to keep the heals on the person with the chow, because they're going to take so much more damage. Excuse me, than anything, as they get more and more stacks. So we wipe here. As you can see, we got pretty very far, and then he just hit his enrage timer, and so we died, and he just kept getting healed way too much for us to do anything. So we take this is a different attempt, and we go ahead and for this attempt we have Arg go ahead and decide to tank kite all the chow, and I'm going to heal him. Excuse me, as you're going to see here. So Arg is tanking them around, trying to just keep aggro and pretty much keep them off him and as far away as possible. You're going to see hunters coming up and around every so often, dropping frost traps to allow him to pass them over that, to slow them down as much as possible. So that's pretty much what's happening here. So yep, now we move on. So this is it. This is our second try, as you can see, and as you can see, we're doing much better this time. As we pull them, they get frozen. Hunters have some traps, do a lot less damage that way. And then the hardest part of this is just keeping Arg alive, because he's taking these stacks, and it's doing so much damage. As you can see, you'll see some people come up here and drop their ads next to him and just focus it on that way. The hardest part of this fight for me was just, like I said, keeping Arg alive, and as you can see, he dies. Luckily it happened at a very good time. It happened when the decimate happened already, and they were on their way, and we could burn them down, and so it gave me an opportunity to bring him back up. And the hunters were really good about going ahead and stopping them or grabbing him back, and then he came right back into it. Now if that would have happened before the decimate and everything, it took me a minute to realize that I'm out of mana, it would have been really bad, because it's happened before. When he has that many ads on him and then he dies, if it didn't happen before the decimate, they would all come directly after me and I would die very fast. So either you need somebody to help come pick them up, or obviously time it right, bring them down. And I do lose him again, and I do die. See, as you can see, they all come straight after me. But it didn't matter. It was good enough. We held them back long enough, and we won. We beat him, and Gluth went down, which was awesome. And we pretty much just, I went back to raid healing because he was down and he was almost dead, so I didn't worry about it. And there he goes. And as soon as he's gone, the ads do disappear because they're summoned, and then I go ahead and give Hark the res he deserves. That was a hell of a fight. I'll tell you what, that's intensive, because you get into a pace usually when you're healing of how people's health goes and how they are, and when they take those stacks and it gets worse and worse and worse progressively, you really lose track of it. So now we're moving on to the last boss, the big boss of Construct Quarter, Thaddeus. Thad is an interesting fight. First, you saw us up there fighting these like charger guys, basically there's two platforms on either side. You're going to pretty much split into two groups. Each group will have a tank and at least one healer. They go up each side and they will fight these things. They have to be downed simultaneously for it to work. Or not simultaneously, but within a certain amount of time of each other. Otherwise it won't work, so you got to keep an eye on it. And the tanks are going to be swapped. They're going to be thrown from each platform back and forth, and they're going to be swapped. So other than that part's not hard, and that's pretty much phase 1. Phase 2 is, well, what you see here. And that's, of course, attacking Thad. The biggest thing about Thad is he's really a take and spank, but he throws these charges on people, a positive and negative, and you have to be on a certain side of him to be that charge, and he's going to switch it up. And as you see, getting used to that could be the hardest part, but you'll find out in part 3.